What are the three main mistakes that people do who want to have a successful career in management consulting? Hi everyone, my name is Johannes Niari. I'm the founder and CEO of Mastering Consulting, a firm where we want to help you to have an outstanding and successful consulting career. And in this video, I want to talk about the three biggest mistakes that I see that people are doing who want to have a great career in management consulting. And the reason why I want to do this video is because, especially in the past few months, and especially in a situation where the industry is in such a challenging state, especially there, it really frustrates me that people make the same mistakes over and over and over again, and then they're wondering why they don't achieve their goals. And this video is relevant for everyone who wants to get into consulting, but also for everyone who already is in consulting or wants to get a promotion, not get laid off, prepare for their consulting jobs, and so on. Okay, so for people who want to get into consulting and people who already are in consulting. So what are now the three biggest mistakes? Let's start with mistake number one. Okay, and mistake number one is especially for people who want to get into consulting. Okay, and this is about case prep and prep in general. And I mean, there are many mistakes that you can make in the entire preparation process, like, not having the right application strategy, not choosing the right firms, having bad application documents, and so on. But probably the biggest mistake that I see is that people don't prepare case prep or don't prepare for case interviews with professionals, okay? Most people I speak with, or many people I speak with, they think that just reading one or two case books and then practicing with their with their peers and with some friends, that this will be enough in order to prepare you for the interviews. But this is a huge mistake, and the reason is the following. Yes, you get a good understanding about case prep if you read the books, and yes, there are some online materials out there that can help you to understand the basics of case prep. But being in a one-on-one interview situation is completely different, okay? It's really something different if you do the cases by your own or maybe with a friend. This is completely a very different situation compared to a situation where you are in a real interview and with someone you together who has pretty high standards and trying to solve a case interview, because the pressure is much higher, the questions will be much tougher, the entire situation will be more tense. And the biggest mistake typically that I see is that if you only do peer-to-peer practice, for example, if you only prepare with your friends, with your consulting group, with also on platforms where you work prepare with other peers, if you do that alone, then you will never get like the top feedback, okay? Because if you work with someone who's also not a professional or who has never been part of the interview process on the other side, on the consulting side, because the person never worked in the recruiting department of a firm, for example, then you will never get feedback on the highest level. And in order to pass the consulting interviews, the case interviews, you need to be in the top 10, 1 to 5 or 10%, okay? And you only get this feedback that will get you into this top percentile from people who have already been an interviewer, okay? That's really important. So your friend, your consulting club, as good as they are, they probably cannot give you the same feedback as professionals can give you, who already worked in consulting, who already have been interviewers themselves, okay? And this is really important. And don't get me wrong, I think peer-to-peer practice is really important, because this really helps you, to get into the routine, to see a lot of different cases, and it's much better than practicing on your own. And I think, peer-to-peer prep should be an essential part of every preparation strategy. But you also need this one-on-one coachings and this one-on-one interviews with professionals who already worked in consulting, to have been in interview processes many, many times, because they can give you feedback on the next level. That's really important. So this is mistake number one that I see very often, that people only practice peer-to-peer and don't work with professionals. Then mistake number two that I see very often is that people don't prepare their consulting skills, okay? Because everyone is so focused on getting into consulting and preparing the case interviews that they think somehow that they will learn the skills on the job. But you have to understand that getting into consulting is one thing, but becoming a good consultant is something completely different. And it's very competitive. And especially last year, we've seen many laid off. And guess who got laid off? The people who didn't work on their skills. And especially at the beginning, there are some basic skills that you need to know. You need to know how to work with PowerPoint. You need to know how to work with Excel. Then once you master that, you need to know how to solve problems, how to apply strategic frameworks. And then, of course, you also need to be able to communicate, to organize yourself, and to develop the right mindset. This is like a basic skill set for every consultant. And you need to learn that before you join the firm, okay? And yes, there are some corporate trainings, of course, but they only will get you so far. You have to understand that in the consulting firms you have a relative rating system. So this means that you're always measured against your peers. And if you only do the corporate trainings, where everyone goes through, guess what? You will be average. Okay, this is how the trainings are designed. So you need to put more effort into the skill prep. You need to prepare before you join the consulting industry your skill set. Because this is the only way to get into the top percentile, where you get the promotions, where you get not laid off. Okay, this is really important, especially in a time where there's so much pressure on the industry. Okay, so please do me a favor, work on your skills, prepare the skills. After you did the case prep and once you got the interview, the job offer, directly start with the skill prep. Okay, this is the best way to prepare for your job and to make sure that you are part of the top performers and that you don't get laid off and that you get promoted quickly. Okay, very, very important. So it's the second biggest mistake that I see, that people do not prepare their consulting skills. And then the third mistake that I see is that people ask for help too late. Okay, and this in both cases. So the people who want to prepare for the interviews, they think they can do it on their own, and then 1 week before the interview or 2 weeks before the interview, they realize, hey, wow, maybe I should ask for help because I don't feel prepared enough. Okay, but then 2 weeks before the interview, there's only limited improvement that you can make. Okay, also, like, especially people who have struggled with the consulting skills. Okay, maybe if they want to get promoted, or maybe if there are rounds of layoffs. Okay, they typically, get one bad evaluation, then they get a second one, and after the third, they get laid off or they don't get promoted. But they don't ask for help. They typically don't ask for help, until the second bad evaluation. But then, again, your time to improve your skills is very, very limited. And this is what I saw, numerous times last year, that people approach me, ask for help, but then it's unfortunately too late. Okay, so please, please, please don't do the mistake and be too proud to ask for help. Okay, it doesn't matter if you make it on your own or if you ask for help and get some support with developing the skills. The only thing that counts is that you belong to the top percent if you are in the interviews, and that you belong to the top percent if you work in the consulting industry. And how you get there doesn't matter. And I know some people say, hey, I always do things on my own. Yes, but this sometimes also creates the results. And I never, if I take a look at my career, I always ask for help. I always ask experienced people. I was always, happy to spend, a lot of money for mentorings and for courses, because this saves you time. And instead of, buying an expensive clothes or, going to a lot of vacation and, buying expensive watches and status symbols, I always invested the money in myself. And this was, really probably the key factor that helped me, to get promoted pretty fast in consulting. And this is also, something that I can give you as a tip. Ask for help, okay? There's no shame in it, and ask as early as possible, okay? Because then you still have a chance to improve your situation, okay? So tip number one, to summarize, is that you don't give up. Mistake number one is that most people only prepare peer-to-peer and not with professionals. Then mistake number two is that people don't actively prepare for their consulting skills. And mistake number three is that people ask for help too late. Okay, these are the three biggest mistakes. And if you avoid these three mistakes, then you probably already increased your chances of having a successful consulting career by probably, 80% or so. Okay, so do me a favor, avoid these mistakes. If you want to have help in the preparation for case interviews, if you want to have professional coaching, also if you want to work on your consulting skills, or if you need help, then please reach out to us, apply for a free career and skill assessment. There we take 1.5 hours time to take a look at your situation and propose the next steps that you take. Please do so. Don't be too proud. Don't think that you can do everything on your own. You don't have to do everything on your own. Do me a favor, okay, and avoid these mistakes. And with that being said, see you the next time.